I used to stand in my apartment and feel the silence. It wasn't a peaceful silence, it was an absence. No one yelling, no one demanding, no constant tension in the air. Just me and the reality that my marriage had ended. In that quiet, I started noticing something more specific. It wasn't that I didn't know what I liked. I still loved makeup. I still loved dancing. I still loved music. Those things were always mine. But I realized I wasn't really moving through choices the same way anymore. Even simple things like what to do with a free evening or what I wanted to try just for me didn't really come as easily. So I started experimenting with diamond painting, Legos, just slow, calming things. Not because I had lost myself completely, but because I was creating space to feel more like me again. And slowly, those small choices started bringing me back home. Welcome to a life rebuilt. I'm Jenny. I had to learn how to sit in that silence, not fill it, just see what I could do with it. It started with diamond painting. If you've never seen one of these, imagine a canvas covered in tiny color-coded symbols. You take a small pen, dip it in wax, pick up a resin diamond, and place it one by one, hour after hour. When life has been full of noise and unpredictability, there is something steady about a task that only asks you to follow the next step. It was meditative, it was quiet, and that quiet became the point. Over time, I started making them for the people I love. My parents have one hanging in their home, and so do some of my closest friends. And when I really sat with that, I realized a piece of my healing is literally on the walls of the people who matter the most to me. It's not just stored somewhere or just a memory. It's visible in rooms where they have their quiet mornings and their ordinary days. A small, glittery picture I made in silence when I was just trying to find my way back to myself. I think about that sometimes, and what I realized was simple. I was creating things that existed outside of me, not just passing time, but making something I could give. And then there were adult coloring books, and I only realized later they weren't really distractions. They were small ways of getting back into making choices again. No matter what color I picked, no one was telling me what was right or correcting me. I was practicing to trust my own preferences in a very simple way. And when you've spent a long time second guessing yourself, even small choices like that matter more than they look like they should. Through my friends, Legos came into my life. And it might sound small, but it wasn't. There's something grounding about following clear, step-by-step instructions when life feels uncertain. You open the box, you sort the pieces, and then you follow the guide. And at the end, you have something tangible that you've created. I built a floral Lego set that sits in my room today. You've probably seen them in my previous videos. Actually, let me show them to you. I walk past these every morning, and they're a quiet reminder that I can start something and finish it. But not only that, more importantly, they symbolize that period of my life, my healing journey. And I absolutely love these. And I still get Legos as gifts. Like a couple of weeks ago, it was my birthday, and my son and my husband gifted me another floral set to put together. So it just feels like a small full circle moment. But there was still something missing in my day-to-day life. Even with a roommate, I was still spending a lot of time in my own space, trying to figure things out. I wanted something more grounded, something alive, a different kind of connection in my routine. So I adopted a cat. And what changed wasn't dramatic. It was consistent. She was only 7 weeks old when I got her. She needed to be fed, her litter box needed to be cleaned, and she needed attention and play. There was something about that studied responsibility that pulled me out of my own head in a very real way. And in those early days, when I didn't really feel like doing much, she would still show up and remind me there was something to respond to. My cat became the first living being I had consistent responsibility for in that chapter of my life. And over time, taking care of her reminded me that I could still show up for something outside of myself. She would curl up on my chest and purr like she felt safe there. And something about that started to shift things in me too. That experience of caring for and being cared for by something would later become important when I became a first-time mom at 41. But I also needed to continue to move because healing isn't just mental, it lives in the body. I started running with my friend, even though I didn't like it at first. I went with her anyway, and slowly I noticed I could go a little further each week. There was something simple about that progress. It gave me a sense of building something again over time. Surprisingly, running became something I ended up enjoying because it gave me a way to feel present in my own body. I also started bicycling for a while. That didn't really become a long-term routine, but I still remember it. I'd go out just to ride, to move, be outside for a bit. And even though I don't ride regularly anymore, I kept the bike and it's still hanging up in my garage. And I think about using that bike again one day with my son when he learns to ride his bike. These weren't big turning points, just small ways I started coming back into my body and my life again. So if you're watching this thinking, I don't know who I am anymore, start small. Start with something simple, something you can actually do. You don't need a full plan, you just need one step at a time. One choice that belongs to you. Just remember, no one is coming to save you, but you can save yourself. Together, let's rebuild, redefine, and rise.